Hi everyone, Piet Calamijn here. I hope you are having an awesome day. So why would you need to use Fiducials on your PCB and how can you place them? That's what I would like to show you in this video today. What you see below is what your operator will see if they're using a Fiducial on your PCB, and basically the gist of this video is you need them for alignment. I will show you why, show you how in this video. Let's dive into it. So here is an example of a PCB with 3 Fiducials. It's a simple PCB, Bluetooth module and some battery management stuff. But what you see here is there's 1, 2, 3 Fiducials. There's nothing on the back side, so there's no Fiducials over there. But basically we have these 3 Fiducials. Now, why would you need to use Fiducials and how do you place them? Well, first of all, let's maybe go back to the why. So if you don't know the process of automated PCB assembly, I'll quickly breeze through that, how that goes. So first of all, in your assembly house, they will start from bare PCBs. Bare PCBs, they look like this. You still see the inner pick finish. It looks like it's a gold-like surface finish, and they look like this. Now the first step that you have to do is to apply solder paste. So we want to have some kind of result where every pad, the gold pads that you have seen in the previous tab over here in this picture, so that there is nicely paste applied on there. That's the first step. Now, how is that done? Typically, a machine like this is used. It can be a printing machine or a jetter machine. So what you need is a stencil, and the stencil will have openings where you see these gold pads over here. All the green parts are not open, but the gold parts, they are open. Basically, a big lump of solder paste, you can compare it to chocolate paste, let's say, is put on here, and then the machine has a squeege and that will go over and I will make sure that there is a very fine layer of paste applied to your PCB. So if you look over here, this is the result. So through that opening, solder paste has applied, not on the green parts, but on the pads where you need to have your component placed. This is another picture. So here's a microcontroller that will be placed. All these pads, they nicely have some solder paste applied. That's the first step in that automated process. So with this machine that can go relatively quick, next step in that process is then pick and place. And typically they come in various sizes, these machines, but typically you have your feeders over here. So one feeder has one specific type of components. There's a picking machine or a picking arm inside. It will pick one component and then put it on the PCB that will be on that track here in the middle. That's the second step. So these components are then picked and they are placed on top of this solder paste. And then the last phase, so after the pick and place is done, the board will go through the machine and it will go on the last belt into a reflow oven. So in that oven, the PCB basically will be baked, the solder paste will melt, the components will be nicely attached to the PCB and the PCB comes out. So that's very quickly how the system works. Now, to have an automated way of doing things, of course, the machine needs to know, so the pick and place needs to know and the solder paste machine needs to know where your PCB exactly is. So how can you make that easy for your assembly house? That is to put some Fiducials. Basically, these Fiducials, they will use them to align your PCB in the machine. So the machine, there's always some visual and optical imaging system inside. It will see your PCB. The operator will nicely have the coordinates that you give him for these Fiducials. He will indicate the Fiducials as well in the optical imaging system. And like that, the pick and place can alter the machine accordingly. The stencil machine can alter the machine accordingly. You need to know, for instance, these pick and place machines, like this one, they sometimes have an accuracy up to 2 or 1 micrometer. So for that, of course, you need to align your PCB exactly in the machine. And that is done based on these Fiducials. Basically, alignment of your PCB inside the machine automatically is done with the Fiducials. If you don't have any Fiducials on your PCB, then your operator will need to manually select some parts on your PCB. So it can be done, of course, without Fiducials, but then your operator needs to check or needs to choose, for instance, this part, and this part will now be used for alignment. That's an extra mechanical or manual step, which will increase the cost of your PCB. And of course, you want to avoid that in an automated process. You want to have them as cheaply as possible. So then, last step, how do you make this Fiducials? Well, it's very easy. I am using Altium. Of course, you can do this in another program as well. But basically, what I am doing is I place a pot. So what I use and what is typically used for a fiducial is a round shape with a diameter of 1 millimeter. So 1 millimeter by 1 millimeter. And I tend to place them on relatively logical places. So let's place this one over here. And then one over here. And one over here. Now to make it easy for the operator, I always try to have some rounded coordinates, let's say. So if we place it, let's check at 23 millimeters, might be a bit close to this spot, but we can use 23.2. And then the 20 millimeters of 20.325, you can bring that to 20 millimeters, of course. An important thing that I always do as well is to put my origin, of course, in the left lower corner. Makes it easy for your operator. They know this is the 0, 0 coordinate, x and y, and then they can relatively place everything relatively according to this origin. So over here, we have a y of 20 millimeters, an x of 23.2. So I tend to use it on the same axis. So here it's 23.375. Let's try to put it on 23.2. That is a bit too close. So in this case, 23.3 is better. I will shift the upper one as well to 23.3. So these are nicely on the same x-axis. That's what I always try to do. I try to make a triangle where the two that are above each other are on the same x-coordinate, and the two that are next to each other, let's say, are on the same y-coordinate. So we have 23.320. That's a nice coordinate, an easy coordinate. Here we have 0.95. Let's make it 1 millimeter, of course. And that is placed. If you look in 3D, the operator will still be able to see it even if this bigger module is being placed. So that's good. And then we have this last one. I always try to put, if I can, put it on 1 millimeter and 1 millimeter. You will see the gap in the polygon pore is still there. So it will exactly match, of course, like this. So we have the 3 fiducials placed, and basically that is it. So you take a part, diameter of 1 millimeter, try to put it as much on the boundary of your PCB as you can, and have at least 3. It's better even if you can provide 4, might make it easier for your operator, but 3 is sufficient, and then you have a PCB looking something like this, which is ready, completely ready for automated assembly. So I hope this video was useful for you and you understand the use of fiducials right now and how to place them. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comments below and I'm happy to help. If you liked the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And if you like the channel, please feel free to subscribe. Have a nice day. Bye bye.